All right, let's post it up in NFA.
For sure. All right. So it's actually live right now, but I got nothing on the visual yet. So let's see. I'm going to put the game capture up first. First, I should probably hide the countdown. How do I hide this countdown? There we go. And hide. What is this? I didn't name my media sources, so bear with me.
No, you're fine. No worries. All good.
Did you see your little guy on the top right? Did you go to the Twitch thing and see? I cut out your guy when you were free skating last night. I was like, I'm gonna cut him out and put him in there.
Oh, that's too funny. Yeah. I love it.
Cool. All right. Well, we may as well just get into it. Hopefully, more people will show up than this, but whatever. Regardless, it's all good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for doing this. Before we actually start, I'm just going to do the usual shout outs and then announcing the next guest, which is going to be next Saturday. Actually, it's not going to be next Saturday. I'm trying to think. When's it going to be? I could probably do it next Sunday. So, podcast is going to be next Sunday, not next Saturday. Anyway, so the only shout out that I really have for this week is for Seawalk doing the last podcast, which turned out really good. Went a little bit longer than expected, but everyone seemed to be content. He talked about a lot of stuff. So, and then just everyone who made videos, we appreciate all the videos that you've made. You know who you are. So, in case anyone doesn't know, today's guest is Dodeman, not Dodman. I've called him Dodman for 15 years. Dude, I've called you Dodman for 15 years. Isn't that crazy? Holy shit.
It's okay.
And
all is forgiven.
Yeah, so I don't know too much about him, other than I know he knows all sorts about creative parks. He's been around basically since the inception of improv, right? You've been around since like improv was a thing.
Yeah, as far back as I can remember.
Okay, was that Tony Hawk 3? Did you do that?
I started playing online. I'm a Christmas noob, just like I heard you are. So I started playing, got the official network adapter for PS2, and been playing online pretty much ever since.
Damn, okay. All right. So other than the creative parks, I know that you've hosted a lot of tournaments, and you were also, you didn't found, or you're not like the founder of, rather, of merging and stacking objects, right? Like, who founded that? I'm just curious before we go too far.
As far as I know, merging and stacking of objects in creative parks was probably the first two people that I know that did it were Evil God and Hitston.
Oh, yeah. Figured those guys are crazy. I'll try to get one of them on. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually friends with Evil God on Facebook. I'm friends with Hitston on Facebook as well. I haven't talked to either of them in a bit. Evil God, he doesn't have a PC. He's super bummed. He'd love to play Thug Pro. But
how do you not have a computer?
I don't know. He's an interesting guy. I talked to him. I don't know. I probably talk to him maybe once every 6 months or something. I'll just say howdy, see what he's up to.
Oh, cool. What, you got like a Twitter account or something? Facebook?
No, Facebook.
Oh, okay, cool. Dude, how many people do you have on Facebook that are from Tony Hawk?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe 20.
Okay, so decent amount.
Not a lot, but a few.
Cool. All right, well, let's do the necessity questions. So, when did you first start playing? What game? What console? I think we all know it was PS2, right?
PS1. I actually started playing the series. I actually didn't even have a PlayStation 1 at the time, and I played the OPM demo back in July or August of '99 before the first title was released.
I remember that fucking thing. That map that was on there, that wasn't even like the complete map, was it?
It was Chicago warehouse, and I think it was a little bit different. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, up to that point, I've been a gamer forever. I'm the old man of the community. Most people know me as. Some people call me Dode Dad, but at any rate, I started playing. I had played Skate or Die. I had played 720. I'd played all these different games, and then when Tony Hawk came along, just like is always the case with people that played any skating game before this, I was just blown away. So I bought a console and I got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 day one, and yeah, so I've been playing ever since. Mostly.
Cool. What clans have you been in? Or have you just been in this one? Like, I know you've been in this clan for a long. Is this even a clan? Because this is like a website, right?
Yeah, this is it's kind of our self-professed clan. I mean, really in 2019 clans, I mean, I guess there's a few clans that still like do clan battles and this other stuff, but I think it's so much more camaraderie. And so THPSX, there's just a bunch of us that get together and hang out. We're the mods on the Discord, myself and Ace and Crad and Tyler and Freddie and Satin and Nuts. And anyway, we got a group of us, and some of us rock the tag just as a shout out to the former days of clans and so forth. But what clans have I been in overall? The first clan I was in was TXA, which was I guess the farm team of TXO. And there's a long story with that I won't get into. I was in TXO after that. And then I was in Denied Clothing Team, which was kind of it wasn't just Tony Hawk gamers. It was gamers of all platforms. And that was for Denied Clothing. And then I was in Car, which is the creator.
I got to stop you there. Hold on 1 second. Denied Clothing. Sure. Did they actually have a clothing brand?
Uh-huh.
They did?
Yep,
dude,
absolutely.
That's crazy. Is it still around?
Nope, it's not. So the two founders of that were Benson, who is the founder of TXO, and then a guy named Sick. He was one of the developers from Neversoft. And so they actually were the ones that did Denied Clothing.
Oh, it's crazy.
So,
I thought it was, because I swear I've seen it for sale on a website. I should have bought that. I remember you could get like the sun hat guy on a shirt.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Do
you still have shirts?
Yeah. I have one shirt. I have one shirt still from that era. It's pretty well faded and worn because I wore it a lot. But
frame that bastard.
Yeah, I know, no doubt, huh?
Dude, that's crazy. Okay.
But let's see. And then after Denied Clothing, Car Creator Review, which was all of the one of the TXO hosted sites was Creative Park to start, and then it turned into Creator Review. And then after TXO collapsed, we decided to continue it, myself and Bungle. We continued it, and then we had a team and a clan. And then the only group since then is I've been hanging out with the THPSX folks for, couple 2.5, 3 years, maybe now, something like that. So yeah, quite a few clans over the years.
Quite a few, right. But this one predominantly for the last God knows how long.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't even necessarily call it a clan. We're just the group of people that we like to hang out. We moderate the Discord together. We work on the website together for THPSX. We stream together a lot. Just a great group of people. And so, I just really consider them friends more than anything else.
Freddie and Crad are like, I've known them since I've started playing the game. Actually, Freddie and we made the first TH4 EVA. I mean, we did a couple other videos. I don't know if you remember those or not, but they're super. Like, we made them in like 2004 or something like that. I mean, they're old as heck.
I love that old stuff. Yeah, Freddie's great. Freddie, he is a man of few words when you talk to him, but his knowledge of the series is incredible. He knows the history of it really well, and he's an amazing King of the Hill player. One of the best I've ever played with.
God at King of the Hill. Yeah. I sold him my old gaming computer back in 2009, maybe 2008.
Oh, funny. Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. He still has it. I've been hounding the shit out of him for years to give me back my case, because they don't make that case anymore. Great. It's one of those old school computer cases that they haven't made in like
seriously
10 plus years.
Nice.
And now I'm always wanting. Now I'm getting older. I'm like, I want my case.
I love it. That's great.
All right, sweet. So favorite Tony Hawk game? Why?
Favorite Tony Hawk game is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, without question.
Yes, mine too.
And the reason why is, well, there's a lot of reasons, but probably primarily the reason why I like it the most is I had never played any games online prior to that. I had never played anything online at all, even on computer or anything. I think I had a junky PC. So it was the first time I got to meet people and play games with people online. And so I just met so many amazing people from all over the world, a lot of whom I'm still friends with. And beyond that, just some of the best level design in the series. And that's controversial, but I think they are. I think those levels are timeless and classic. and the online modes and just how it kind of changed from all the classic runs to having the career mode, and so in the first player. So yeah, Tony Hawk 4 without a doubt is my favorite.
Yeah. So other than the level design being one of the first games you played, all these people you met, is there anything else? Like for me personally, it's like the fluidity of the game. It's super fast paced. It's very unforgiving. You can't get off your board. The trick animations, those are some of the reasons why I like it. Just seeing if there's more why you liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never been a big, as the conversation progresses, and anybody who knows me knows that I'm not like the best player at the series. I don't even know.
So don't worry.
I've been super lucky to meet the people and been in the clans and groups that I've been in, and I just appreciate the people who've let me hang around, because I've never been great, at tricks and getting huge combos and not awesome at improv or any of it. So the creative stuff is kind of where I've shined, I guess, and have enjoyed being a part of that community. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think those are the main reasons why I like 4.
Yeah, well, they're good reasons for sure. All right, cool. Well, now we can kind of start going down the rabbit hole of creative parks.
Sure.
I don't know where we're even going to start, because obviously you can make creative parks as early as the second one, correct? You couldn't do it in the first one, or could you do it in the first one?
No, not in the first one. 2 was the first park editor.
Okay, so to go all the way back to 2, I don't know if you remember or not, but like no one here probably remembers making parks in 2. Is there anything in 2 that was just comparable to like merging and stacking in Tony Hawk 4? And could you merge and stack in Tony Hawk 3?
So in 2, the only difference that I know, or the thing that stands out to me in 2 was there was a couple of pieces that never made it into the later titles. There were like these sloped quarter pipes, and you never saw those again, and I really enjoyed those. I like using those. Okay. But then merging and stacking, I have no idea if there's a way to do it. I do not know. I haven't ever tried to check it out or play with it that early. And then in 3, same thing. I don't think in 3 online you could share parks. I just didn't play 3 online that much. Even later, when I had the chance to play it online, I don't remember if you could or not. Maybe somebody in chat can shoot me down. But anyway, but yeah, still no merging and stacking. I didn't hear of merging and stacking until 4, so it may be possible in the earlier titles, but I never saw it or never tried it.
Okay. Yeah, I have no idea on 3 either. I think I played 3 online once or something on PS2 before the servers were closed. I'm pretty sure they're closed now, right? I would assume.
Yeah.
Like
there's a way that you can do it. I think I'm not sure if you can do it through OpenSpy or not. There's a couple of games that have gotten hooked up on OpenSpy. I believe Thaw most recently came back up, and you can actually play Thaw online, but I don't know about 3.
So you can play Thaw without any sort of like IP addresses or anything like that?
Yeah, there's a way that you have to do it, and I don't know if there's a tutorial or whatever, but
not as simple as just going online like the old days.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised. Yeah, for sure. Cool. What the hell are we playing? What is this? What's
this is a remake of School 2. This is by Evil God.
Yeah, I was wondering. Something just kind of was like,
yeah. So this is the reason I brought this up is because I knew you wanted to talk about merging and stacking. This is merging and stacking, not in Thug Pro. This is merged and stacked, done in the old way. So all this stuff you see here, so all of these parks that I have that are from the older titles, they all of these parks from the older titles, they were all ported over. Crad helped me do it. I had all of these on old memory cards. So I brought them over from the memory cards, loaded them into a PC, and then Crad actually converted them so that they could be played in Thug Pro for me. So I've got a ton of them that are old that were built by creators from way long past. So yeah, this is a good example of some great merging and stacking, doing it the old way. And I can move on to another one too that we can look at. That's really cool too.
Let me see something in particular that's like merged and stacked, because like this, there's so much in this level. Like it might not seem like it, but there actually is.
Oh yeah.
Like that right there is merged and stacked. This ledge on your right side, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. All of these school building pieces, they're stacked on top of each other. Right in there. We're actually skating on floated pieces. This ground piece right here. If you actually look at this piece right here, you can actually see the floor below it. I can't corner glitch, but if you could get right in there, and you'd actually be underneath this ground, and it's all been floated. And yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't even think to just go under the level and see what's all. Dude,
Yeah,
the amount
totally.
of time,
yeah, you're in free cam.
Dude, the amount of time that this would take is like, because literally every object is, you have to do it for like, so, and then, okay, you got to tell people how the merging and stacking works. Like, I know you like put a quarter pipe and then like you rotate it and then you like put another quarter pipe. Like, is there a dummy version that you can tell that doesn't take forever?
Not that I know of. The stuff that I did, actually, for me in the merging and stacking, I didn't do it a lot, to be completely honest, because it was so tedious. It was so hard to just dial it in. So I think I stacked some picnic tables and I did a couple of things, but I was never a master at it by any stretch of the imagination. Evil God, in my opinion, and somebody can shoot me down. Evil God, though, he was probably the best of all time at this trick and this technique. He was so good.
I remember being happy just to like, floating. I remember floating like lava, thinking it was the coolest thing. Like you come from under it and then you can go through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Let's see a couple more. Just we'll skate
absolutely
around while we do this.
Well, you want some floated lava? I can show you that right here. This is another Evil God creation. This is his volcano level. So if you look up, you will see the roof is lava.
Oh, yeah. So can you go through it?
You can actually, but of course, as soon as you land, you die.
Right.
Because you're in lava.
Okay. Is this okay? So obviously, is it made on this game, or is this is also made on Tony Hawk 4 and converted over?
No, you can't actually convert Tony Hawk 4 levels into Thug Pro. I don't know the technical reason why, but you can't. So this was made, if I had to guess, because of the boosters, it was made in Thug 2. Thug 1 levels you can bring over into Thug Pro, but they break parts of them because the rail tool functioned a little differently. And then the other reason is there's some missing pieces, most notably the freeway pieces.
Cool. Yeah, I want to see your guy go through the lava real quick. I'm watching you. No pressure.
Oh, you want me to go through the lava? Yeah. You seem to think I could do wall shuffles and stuff, but I can't.
Some sort of like plan.
Yeah, not me. I'm not a tech guy.
Okay. That's like I was smash up real quick. Smash up an X.
Smash up an X.
I'm gonna go through it real quick.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be able to do it.
I wonder how long it took to make this. I mean, this one looks a little more straightforward compared to the other one.
Yeah, for sure. This doesn't have a lot of merging and stacking. He just floated the ceiling. So.
But like literally every single square that people see here, that required. Do you have to reload the level to do that too? Because I remember back then you had to like reload to do certain stuff, right? Like you had to refresh or something. Am I going crazy?
Oh, I'm sure it was a long, tedious process to get it to work. I don't know exactly the tech. Oh, I just went through it.
I want to see if there's anything like. Is there any cool things we can stand on out here? There's got to be like that one ledge out here you can stand on.
Yeah, I would imagine you could probably stand on any of the walls.
Oh yeah, you can. Just if you come right out here, you can just warp to it or something. But this is cool. For sure. This is really cool.
Yeah. So there's your floated lava, and then I'll give you one more example. This is a favorite. I can always get people to trip out when I load this online. In fact, I played online randomly last night, and I loaded this one up, and people just tripped.
Wow, it's like a big net. Oh, multiple nets.
This is a fun one to do score challenge on because you can just rack up. You can set your score challenge at 10 million, and somebody's done in like a minute because there's gaps everywhere. And Evil God understood the technique on gap merging or something. You could overlay gaps on top of each other so that you could just get dozens to fire basically all at once.
Dude,
I think one of the first guys that did that was Bungle. He had a famous level on Tony Hawk 4 called Cotton Candy, and it was like this slope, and then there was this like nipple in the middle of it, for lack of a better term, and you just grind around the nipple, and eventually it would throw you off, and it just kept firing gap after gap after gap, and when you finally landed, you had like 100 million.
Jesus, this level would be really cool for King of the Hill too.
Oh
It'd
gosh,
be
yeah.
crazy for King of the Hill. Can you imagine? Oh, come on. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there's spikes on the outside. Okay.
Yeah, this one you do have to be careful on the outside. And I think he put spikes on there because, back then a lot of people didn't know how to wall shuffle. So you'd get
Right.
stuck out there.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah. Uh, did I ask you what your favorite creative park was? Do you have
Oh
a
my
favorite? Yeah, it'd be really hard, man. Yeah, I don't know, but
Oh
it's a
man.
stupid question, but I'll ask it.
I honestly don't think I have a favorite of all time. It's
Okay.
so hard
Right.
because I've literally probably played in the tens of thousands, and that sounds like a lot, but
Jesus.
I've played a lot because I got to the point with the series to where I liked the regular levels, but I just got tired of them. I just got bored with playing the same ones. The people that still play like Manhattan and New Orleans and all these ones that are so famous in 2019. I'm like, how are you still playing that and still having fun with it?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
For
What?
me, I kind of like to explore and I like to experience new things, and so I would always gravitate to creative parks because it
Yeah.
was new content. It was stuff that I had never seen or ever played. And it was interesting to see what people came up with, especially when you started seeing this stuff that was merged and stacked and whatever. So,
Is there anything that's been made on this engine, Thug Pro, that just really has caught your eye in the last like year or so? Because I know you've hosted some
yeah,
tournaments.
definitely.
So.
We've had some really good creative parks done in for the cap contests that we've done for THPSX. Um, and I'll show you one. One of my favorite creators right now is Chucky. Chucky PK. He's done quite a few. He's participated in a bunch. He's won a couple of the cap contests, and I'll
Oh,
show you
nice.
one. This is this one of the cap contests. I don't remember what number it was, but this is called School is Cool.
I like it. I like the name.
And this is so this shows you what I think this was 2018. So anyway, this shows you in 2018. Um, you got to really explore around on this thing, but he's done some great work with rail art. The merging and stacking, of course, is easy now, but he made like some underground areas under the school pieces, and just the thoughtfulness and okay, how could we make something interesting? And this was a theme. Um, Obviously, the theme was a schoolyard.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's not really, maybe doesn't have necessarily the best flow of any level you've ever played, but like just kind of this picnic area where he floated some pyramid
Okay.
pieces above the
I
picnic
was I
table.
was literally about to ask where the soccer field is, and it's right here. So
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
he got it.
exactly.
Is there a football
Yeah.
field? That'd be
No,
kind of stupid because I'd just be grass, I guess. But pretty much.
yeah, so the rail art there with the goals um for the soccer field there. You got the swimming pool. And then, yeah, if you go under the school, there's a classroom with some rail art for a
Oh,
little joke on the 1+1 = 3.
oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah. So just kind of really inventive and creative how this was put together. The merged fountains, and you got the glass house above. So you kind of got a little rooftop line up top. And so this is a fun one that's more recent. Um, Jimmy's doing some really good work right now. He's got some great creative parks, and yeah. So I think what's happened though is there is a situation right now where custom levels have kind of overtaken creative parks, and it makes sense. You want some original content or something that you haven't seen as a regular level. Well, a creative park, you've seen thousands. Well, custom levels, different story. You haven't seen thousands of custom levels, and they're full blown levels from other games and whatever. So
Right.
um so there's just not as many creative parks coming out right now, and plus the size of our community and everything else. So
Yeah, well, I was actually going to dive into that. Do you think it's crazy that there even is a community, or what's your thoughts on it right now? Like, I just think it's crazy that it's even around, or this game is absolutely crazy what they've done with it. Like, did you
yeah,
think? Did you think 15? How many years you been playing now? I mean,
20
online.
years.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say 20 years later,
20
but I
years.
didn't want to sound like a dick. But yeah, 20 years
No,
later,
not at all.
that you'd still be on this.
Oh, not at all. I
Right.
mean, I really thought back at Thaw really. American Wasteland, I mean, the community was a very small shell of its former self. Project 8 wasn't online, so nothing to play. The servers were getting shut off. Everything was looking so grim for the series. Oh no, I wouldn't have thought for a minute. I think it's amazing. I mean, obviously Thug Pro. I think a lot of us had hopes that when Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD was announced, we relaunched TXO. We got a new website back up. We had such high hopes that it was going to revitalize the series, and it ended up just being, I mean, let's just be honest, a glitchy, buggy, gross game. 5 didn't help matters.
I didn't even play those. I mean, when I saw HD, as soon as I saw the trick animations, I was like, I can't do it. I won't even try it.
Yeah, and be glad you didn't try it, because it was a waste of time and money. I can tell you, I was one of the schleps that bought 5 day one, paid $60 for it, and it's not even a $5 game.
Right. It's not even like a complete game, right? Yeah, it's god awful.
It was just so broken. So it just tough stuff. Just anyway, so then Thug Pro comes along, and I was actually a late adopter to Thug Pro. I think I started playing Thug Pro. They started the mod in 2013, I believe. I don't think I started playing it until probably 2015.
Dude, I think I popped on just briefly around 2015, 2016. And I was like, this ain't for me. And then around 2017, I was like, went back on. I was like, this still ain't for me. I was playing Tony Hawk 4 offline. And then last year into this year, I just playing the shit out of it. I mean, I didn't appreciate it, really. I just didn't appreciate it for what it was. And I didn't like this engine that much. It took me a while to get into the engine because everything, it seems a little slower.
It is. It definitely is. You play this, and then I think a lot of the older players would argue that Thug is the superior engine. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that or not, but yeah, this is a little slower, but I've gotten used to it now. It's weird to play other stuff now.
It is. Yeah, I tried playing 4 now, and I'm like, I'm so accustomed to being able to do wall plants and not even stuff that's been found recently in terms of text, but just the general stuff. And I'm like, God, I want to do this, and now it's like, well, why do I even play this game? And I just mainly just play it for the fluidity of the trick animations and the speed of it, and of course just the memorability of it. But
yeah, for sure. I think I started playing this a lot when they had added all of the levels from 3. And then I've been playing it ever since, and I was just blown away because I was like, this is the stuff that we dreamed about. And then they had a good release maybe a year and a half or so ago, to where they added some new creative park pieces that were brand new, which of course made me happy. And then being able to trick the memory on creative park really made me happy. And then I don't know, just so much about it. And then getting involved with the THPSX guys is I've been playing it. I mean, I can't say that I'm like a junkie and I play it all the time, like every day. I don't, but I play quite a bit.
Yeah, I play it every day now. I've been playing it hours on end every day. Yeah, we're working on a new video, and it's been crazy the amount of time.
Yeah, I bet.
It's unreal. Yeah. So what do you think? You don't follow that scene. You're like almost specifically creative park stuff at this current moment, right? I mean, still mainly just
probably custom levels more than anything. I'm in the NFA Discord, and I follow a lot of the conversation. And I mean, the amount of videos that everybody's putting out right now is just incredible. It's insane to me.
Yeah.
And I'm super impressed by it. I think good improvisation is so impressive and so cool to watch. But yeah, I've tried to play with some custom levels a bit. Blender is the tool that's used. It's got a really steep learning curve.
I don't know how people do it.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, just the creations that come out are just incredible to me. So I enjoy playing those just because, like I said, I like new content. So when there's new custom levels that come out, I'll typically check them out.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them. Man. It's unreal how many. I mean, the really good ones are kind of few and far between, but there is a lot. All right, I know I like this level, but we got to do another one. Just keep, I know you probably how many levels, how many creative parks do you have on your hard drive right
now? I don't know, probably well over 100.
Yeah, I was gonna say 1,000, so I guess that's being a little optimistic.
Here's a throwback. This one is this was a 4. This was in 4, but I recreated it myself. This was done by Mike. probably remember Mike from TLT.
Yes.
And he was in TXO.
Oh,
This is called Ruby
wait,
Hollow.
give me a second. Before I forget,
Yeah.
I was going to mention
Sure.
this earlier. So the podcast will be next Sunday, but I did not say who the guest is. I'm pretty certain it's going to be KSK, or some people know him as Kyle. So just in case anyone's wondering, I didn't say it earlier, but now you know. So kind of late in the podcast to be saying this, but I know if I don't say it now, I'm going to forget. So at least now, later, better than never. So
yeah, KSK, a good friend of mine. I've been hanging out with that guy for a long time. He'll be a great guest.
When I told him you were on the pod, like at first he's like, "Yeah, sounds fun, you know, could do whatever." And then I was like, "I got Dodeman." He's like, "Oh, you got Dodeman? Yeah, I'll be on the podcast." I'm like, "Sick, all right."
So funny.
Perks.
Yeah, he's great. I love him.
Yeah.
And he's actually one of the big instrumental reasons why there are custom levels, because he was the one that really put a lot of effort into developing the plugin for Blender that allows you to do the things that need to make stuff work. So he'll have some good tales, and he's been around since forever. So
yeah. Has he been playing longer than you then?
I don't know.
I mean, it's not like
I've never asked him that,
but it would be interesting to know. You know.
Yeah, no, I would say probably. I don't know if he's a Christmas noob or not, but he's been around since forever, for a long time.
Yeah, I got
He was on TXO, then he was on TLT. So yeah,
I don't think he's a Christmas noob. He could be. I'd be surprised though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Right, that's a good question to ask him.
I'm going to jot it down. Are you a Christmas noob? Well, actually, I ask everyone when they started playing. So
right,
and like their history. And
yeah.
all that.
So this is by Mike from TLT, and like I said, this is just an old school throwback. I put the boosters in here just to make it interesting, but yeah, this was done on 4 originally, and this one's good for slap and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I recognize this type of style because a lot of people did this like outskirts of the level while there was still a middle section kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, the most classic here, I'll change the level to this. This is another recreation by me. This is probably of all of the classic.
Okay.
Yeah. This is Andy THPS. This is Park of Doom 5.2. I've played this for hours. This is the ultimate level for slap.
Yes, it is. I actually played slap on this back on Tony.
I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah. Yes, this park has been around.
Indeed.
Cool. Do you have any of the ELY parks?
Don't, because they were all 4.
They were all 4, yeah. So someone had to go and remake it completely.
Yep, exactly.
Did you ever do
the Death
all?
or Glory.
Yeah,
absolutely. I had a ton of his. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I think he's. Does he play? Are you still in contact with him?
I have not heard from him in years. In fact, I don't. I think he stopped playing. Probably Thug, if I had to guess.
Well, yeah, because I've never seen any other parks from him, other than the Tony Hawk 4 ones. Yeah. So did you complete them all? Like, did you play from A to B, complete them all?
I completed a few of them. There were a couple of them that were so tough. Like, you got to be really technical and really on your game.
I remember completing the 3rd one, and I was like, I think he made 3 of the Death or Glory one. And I was like, after I completed the 3rd one, I was like, where's my trophy? It took hours, dude.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're tough. I think there's a couple of old school videos of somebody doing some runs on his stuff.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays people are so good they could just go in and improv that thing,
Probably true.
Yeah. All right, so this is obviously classic. What else do we have that's from the Tony Hawk 4 era? I'm curious. And then we should maybe see what I don't know if there's anything in specific at Thug. I just wasn't part of that scene, so I missed out on Creative Parks from Thug. But they would have to be remade again, right?
Yeah, so the Thug stuff, it brings over, but it kind of ends up being a little bit broken just because of the pieces. Man, I wasn't sure what you were going to ask me to play, so I tried to do a nice mix. I'm trying to see if I've got anything this might have been from 4. I can't remember. We did a series for creator review called Progressive Caps, and basically what you would do, the idea was we had each person would take a corner of the park. You'd take a quadrant of an empty space in the park, and then you would just build stuff into it, whatever you wanted. And then you just had to try to blend it together and make it work so that it was an interesting park. We did, I think, 4 or 5 of these. This is number 2 in the series. I don't even remember who the creators were on it. This might have been 4. It was either 4 or Thug 1.
Well, someone put their initials in there. Is that their initials?
ATVI, yeah. He was one of the people that participated. Yeah, I don't remember which, or ATDI, that's right. I can see the rail art now.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't remember. I think I participated in one of them, and I think Andy THPS participated in one, and Luke did, and probably Bungle did, and just a lot of the people that hung around Creator View and folks at the time.
Yeah, this is it. I like the lines. I like doing these lines. I don't know. What else? Put on one that you. Oh shit. Okay. Put on one that you really really like. Just like a more personal fave. I know I asked you if you have like a favorite of all time, and that's kind of like impossible.
Sure.
But put on one that you really like. I'm just curious.
All right, I'll give you this one. I'll throw this one at you.
What does a liked TheDodeman Park look like?
Oh, you want to see one that I've made?
Do one that you really like, and then do one that you made. Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta see something you made, of course.
We'll do. This is one that I really like. This was a diamond in the rough. Luke was he was on TXO towards the end of TXO, but Luke was on TXO. Really cool guy, a lot of fun. This is called Banana Redfoot. I believe this was originally done in Thug, and it's just at first glance it looks like it's nothing, but it's so fun, and it's got so many interesting lines and so many cool aspects to it. Like there's a rail up here above those boosters that you can do lip tricks on, just floated up there, and you can prov around it. It's good for King of the Hill. It's just really quite fun for a creative park. It's not very big, but there's just a lot of interesting things to do on it.
Right. I should be saving all these. I have
if you ever need any creative parks, just hit me up. I've uploaded a lot of them to the THPSX Volts, so you can get a lot of them on there if you need. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Okay. I know some people were trying to join a lobby of yours like a little while ago. I don't remember specifics, but they were like, he had a password on, or they were like, let's play this map. And you're like, nah, like it's top secret or something. Is there some maps that you just don't want people to play, or that are just...
No, not usually, unless it's something that I'm working on and I'm just testing it. I'm just trying to put together something, and I don't want to release it yet. But no, I don't think there's anything that's too secretive, unless somebody is giving me a cap, which doesn't happen so much anymore. It used to. People would they would hound me. They'd make something, and because I did reviews on them, and they wanted to get exposure on the creator review site or whatever, they'd always just be like, hey dude, check my park out, and you'd be just playing or chilling, and they'd bug you for hours.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine that happening. All right, before we switch levels, I gotta see what this is all about. There's floating rails over here, and I want to see. I'll see. You hit this kicker to go to these rails up here.
Yeah. Like I said, there's
just these little minute things.
Yeah,
for sure.
all over this thing. He just made it. He made it. I don't know if he just made it to his play style or whatever, because it's kind of got some elements of parks that you would normally see, but then you're just like, whoa, I wouldn't have thought of doing that. That's a cool transfer. That's, whatever. So.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. Well, do you have any maps that you're working on right now?
I do have one that I'm working on right now. I've been working on it for a while. It's not finished, but I'll show it to you. This is my first foray into a Thug Pro stacked merged situation. Call it Stack City, and it's not done, but this is what I was working on. So there's no rails in it or goals or gaps or anything, and I always try to put all that stuff into anything that I work on. But this was my idea for what could be a city. Tunnels and
zoomed out, and yeah, it's crazy how big these can be made now.
Yeah. Well, you got the memory. You can trick the memory now a lot more than you used to be able to. I mean, we used to have all these crazy ideas for ways that you could trick the editor, and you could change the max number of players, and that would give you a little more memory. You could delete some gaps and give you a little. You'd eke out every last possible way that you could to make stuff bigger.
Yeah.
We had trick after trick that we did, but anyway.
This is a cool one.
So yeah, so like I said, it's not finished. It's maybe halfway there, but
I like this bridge.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that must have taken a little while to make, huh?
This is a bit. I don't think anything. I floated the middle section, so that took a little bit. But
yeah,
what's weird when you float cap objects in Thug Pro, if you float something up and then delete the pieces under it, anytime you want to work with the pieces under it, you have to like start over. It's not, of course, nearly as bad as it used to be, but it's still a little tedious to get stuff to work like you want it to.
Sure. Yeah, this is pretty good. I do like this. I'm fascinated by the bridge. I don't know. Acting like borderline autistic over the bridge.
Gosh,
I love your bridge. I've never really seen anything like a bridge like this in a creative park.
Well, like I said, it's just I always had these ideas, and because it was so hard to merge and stack stuff, I just never was able to realize them. And I mean, I don't get as stoked or motivated as I used to build creative parks.
Sure, yeah.
It's been so long and so many years. It's really hard to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna build this, and I've got all these crazy ideas.
No, I used to do that too. It takes hours and hours and hours. I would try making like Tony Hawk 4. Like I would try to make my own Death or Glory type of things. And I would just spend hours because you had to get down every single rail jump like perfectly while you're creating it. Otherwise, you don't know exactly how far to judge the distance. I mean, eventually you became pretty good at it, but you're never 100%. So you had to go into the game every single time you did something.
Yeah, totally. God. Yeah, you have to. Yeah, it's like I said, it's about, okay, I can't just place an object. I've got to make sure that it works and it makes sense for a line and it connects to something, or, I mean, I know for improv players that isn't so much of a big deal. In fact, it might be more interesting if you didn't have these kind of hand-fed lines. But for me, I like to have things that seem to make sense and connect. You don't end up in what I call a dead spot where you can't go anywhere.
Yes,
there's got to be a way to keep a combo going without you having to be like, oh crap, I'm at the dead end of a street and there's nowhere to go now. So
yeah, I think improvers kind of appreciate some linearity. Like if you look at Manhattan, people play the crap out of that level. It's super linear, but yet it's improv because they do their own thing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so I'm gonna move on a little bit. Obviously, we want to talk maybe a little bit more about creative parks. But before I do you want to show us another one of your levels? Is there anything that's just taken you the longest? I mean, you haven't done much in this engine, though. So is there anything that's taken you the longest that you converted over?
Yeah, probably the one that took me the longest, and I don't have it because it was in Thug 1, unfortunately, and it broke in Thug 2, and I don't think I have it in my list right now anyway. I did a themed version. I'll bring you over to an older one of mine. I think did this for some sort of contest, if I remember correctly.
Temple of Dawn.
Yeah.
I keep going this? No. This
yeah.
Is building here.
So this was modeled after the Temple of Dawn in Thailand. So I used a lot of rail art to make it look interesting and kind of, but yeah, the one that I did, not the one we're on right now, but the one that I did that took me the longest was I did a themed one after the city of Gotham, the fictional city of Gotham.
Wait, do you have it right now?
No, that's the one that it was in Thug 1.
Oh, it was in Thug. Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Dang.
So anyway, in Thug 1, and anyway, it was themed. It had an underground area. I think I used a rail sheet on it, which that was a technique that was really cool, where you could trick the rail tool into giving the appearance of like a ceiling. I don't know if you ever messed around with that, but it was fun.
No.
Yeah, so that was a glitch in the rail tool. And I don't have a cap with a rail tool on it.
Okay.
We're with a rail sheet. But anyway, with the Gotham level, we I put that together, and it had goals that were all Batman themed, and it had some interesting lines and gaps that were mapped, and it just took a long time, and it was really thoughtful. But yeah, so I'm sorry that I can't show it to you.
Is there a video of it? Did you record a video of it ever?
I don't think I ever did. I didn't record very many videos of myself, and the reason why is because I'm just not a great player.
Right.
You know,
but
I
it would
didn't
have been
ever
cool
think.
to see it. So is there any way to
Sure.
see it? Is there any way to go back and record it?
Oh
Or do you have
man,
to remake the whole thing now?
I would have to remake the whole thing, and
No.
because it used the freeway pieces that aren't in Thug 2,
Yeah.
unless the freeway pieces were ever brought to Thug Pro, which I think I talked to one of the devs about it one time, and they said, yeah, that really wouldn't. It would be hard to do, and there was a reason why that they took it out for Thug 2. I don't know.
Damn. Well, if you ever get bored, go ahead and go remake it, and then just record it so we can see it.
Yeah,
you'd have
I'll
to
show
do
you
Thug.
one more thing just before I move on that you might find interesting. This is a Hitston level. This was done in Thug 1, and you're going to see some broken rails in here, and you'll understand what I mean. But the reason I want to show you this is it's got a cool aspect to it. It's called a rail cannon.
All right,
So the rail
I've heard of
tool.
this.
Okay,
Yes.
so if you come over by me,
I will do that.
and I'm kind of behind you. So if you grind up the rail, up the wall, and then fall back into kind of that kink, you'll hang there for a second, and it'll throw you out like really far. So
All right, you do it. I'm gonna watch, and then I'll try it here.
yep, that wasn't quite right. It takes sometimes it's not perfect. There you go.
Oh wow, okay. Maybe
So,
I haven't.
and then
seen
it
this.
throws you out.
Wow.
So this was a cool little glitch. I don't remember who figured it out or found it, but they were pretty popular for a while.
Yeah, they were. I remember them. I think this is on Thug, right?
Yeah, this was on Thug 1.
Yeah, I do remember this. Yeah, they're really.
So anytime I play online and there's people in the room that I don't think I've ever seen, I usually like to show it off just because it's kind of cool, kind of interesting thing. You know, people are like, "What the heck?" So one of the people in the chat says rail sheets are unfortunately non-existent in the Thug Pro engine, and I thought that was the case. Oh, that one threw me really far. Holy crap.
what? Explain to me what the hell's going on down here. I don't know if you can observe and see where I'm at, but like what is this? Like, so this is merged objects, but underneath.
Let's see. I'll observe you.
How does a person pull this off?
Yeah, so this is just going to be stuff that's merged together. So it's sunken pieces into the ground, and then you're using the rail tool. So what happens if collision isn't detected? You can actually, so there's a couple rails where you can actually go through the walls of some of these pieces, and it's because the rail tool, like you run a rail through a piece where there isn't collision on the side. So like on a back side of a quarter pipe piece, if it's just not placed there, there's not going to be proper collision on it. So you can trick the engine into getting you to go, oh, I can actually grind through that. So if you come on the other side of that underground piece and that rail, if you go to the outside of it, you can actually grind it and you go through. There you go. You just went through the wall.
That's what happened. It went so quick I didn't realize it the first time. Can I go back?
Yeah, so there's no collision. So like a lot of pieces too, that when you float a lot of pieces, there's no collision underneath a lot of objects. So people will trick and do weird things with that too.
Dang. Yeah, that is trippy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, over time, especially now that you can, with the merging and stacking, I think if there were as many people making parks today as there was back then, you'd really see some crazy stuff because you can just do so many more different things with it now.
I have no doubt, but now with everyone doing level imports from other games and stuff, it seems like kind of I don't want to say it's not necessary because I think you could still do some really cool stuff. Let alone they'd probably find like all sorts of crazy shit that just blow people's minds. But you're right, they're not doing it.
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
Do
you have a favorite level that's been imported from another game onto this game, like some non-Tony Hawk game?
I like a lot of the for custom levels. I like a lot of the stuff that Skater 1014's brought over from like Dave Mira. Some of that stuff's really cool. Some of the evolution.
Cool.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
I'd show you, but if you don't have the level installed, you'll freeze.
I have a map pack that's Seawalk uploaded. It's the most recent one, but you're right. I have no idea if it's gonna have that on.
Yeah.
So probably not risk it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the
Yeah,
Hollywood
but
map is really
he's
cool.
done some good stuff, and then Tyler has brought over a lot of stuff, a lot of the random rare Tony Hawk stuff. His Streets version is awesome. He did goals on it, which it's well, there was one other custom level that had goals that was done. It's called Nukage Pools, and it was done in an interesting way. So Tyler wasn't the absolute first to have goals, but his goals actually you can actually start a game of goal attack and play the goals
Oh wow.
from Streets. So that's really cool. I don't know. I could go on and on about custom levels.
Yeah. Is
Because
there
I
any
played a
that's
lot
like
of
your
them.
favorite? Do you have a favorite custom level?
You have to give a shout out for Philly, of course, from Loraxian, because he just put so much time into it, and his Baltimore is looking to be amazing. Um, then Satin does really good work, and his stuff, almost all of it, is from scratch, original, which really is cool. He's coming up with this stuff out of his head. He's not bringing it over from another game. And the ones that come from other games are impressive too, because the creator still has to go in and they still have to make sure the textures are right, the placement's right. They still have to node all of the rails so that you can grind them. Collisions have to be put in. But then take all of that along with coming up with and actually creating pieces from scratch to make a whole new level. That's incredible to me.
It's insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to try it, but I just know that I'm gonna fail unless
it's hard.
Even if I spend hundreds of hours, I still don't think I'm gonna comprehend all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I just can't bother doing it.
Yeah, it's really, really quite hard. So
who started doing that? I mean, is that just the devs? Like the devs started doing custom maps, or is there some?
No, well, when the plugin was released for Blender, I don't. That's a really good question. Probably somebody you could get on to as an interviewee. You could probably have Satin himself. He might be able to join you for an interview, and he could talk about it. He knows the history of the custom level scene probably way better than I do, so I don't want to presume to say the history of it because I just don't know.
Does he speak English? Okay,
because
I was gonna have
he's from Virginia.
Oh, right on. I was gonna have Larksian, but I guess he's French, and I was gonna have Mom, and we almost did it. And he's like, "By the way, my English is really bad," and I was like, "Well, shit, I can't have a podcast if you can't speak fluent English." So he typed out some stuff.
Nice.
I haven't pulled it up again.
He's great too, and he knows Blender really, really well, and he's spent hundreds of hours in it. But Satin has as well. Okay. Satin has spent a lot of time, and he's been doing creations for a very long time. Custom awesome, stuff. So yeah, he's great.
I never thought of that. I didn't even hear of him until now, which is it just shows like there's a huge gap between the prov community making videos and these types of things, and then like the modders. It's two different worlds.
Yeah, it's a whole different. Yeah, that's kind of how it's always been. There's always been, even back in 4, there was glitchers and there was style guys and there was point horrors and creative part guys, and so there's just still a lot of aspects to the community and the players and the way people play the game. So
I think this is a good transition then. So let's talk about the invention of style. Were you there when style just became a thing, or was that not even like when you were playing it first? Like, or do you remember it all?
All I remember, I thought about this and I took some notes, kind of because you had sent me some of the questions ahead of time. Yes. I thought about it, and let's switch levels real quick because I'm tired of falling into this one hole.
I'm tired of falling into the grass, but bailing. Yeah. Like, I don't know how this is working because it's right next to the water. So when you fall into it, it says no swimming.
This is a newer one. This is by Ruin. He did a series of levels that are themed by the name of desserts. So this is French toast. I guess it's not really a dessert, but anyway.
You must have been high when you made this. That name, man. Like, that's just something I'm hungry.
Yeah, so this has a bunch of stuff floated really high. So don't take any lines at first glance. There's a whole bunch of crap up high to explore and check out. It's really cool.
This would be a good one to mess with them while we're talking.
Yeah, absolutely. You could prov all over this one for days. I haven't even explored all of it, but yeah, the ground is not a thing in this.
Okay.
It really isn't. Anyway, so turning back to your questions about style.
Yes.
I remember there were a lot of people that, I think at one time there were still points mattered and there was an integrity of a high score meaning something. And I think that went away pretty quickly as people cheated and as people learned whore lines and all this other stuff. And so I think a lot of people just were like, I don't care about points. I just want to find the coolest transfer or the most amazing line or the most interesting way to create a combo that nobody's ever thought of. And that to me was kind of the inception of style. Or people would study the levels so intensely and they would plan out their runs. And they'd be like, I'm going to do this transfer here, and I'm going to have this combo here, and I'm going to hit this rail, I'm going to bonk this. That's the whole kind of thing. So I don't think there was ever a moment to me where somebody just went, okay, I'm going to, style is now a thing. I think it was just over time, people started caring less about points and more about, this looks really cool and this is an amazing way to play this game, or this line is crazy. So yeah, that's kind of how I see it.
So obviously there had to have been some people that were doing certain tricks together and all these things. Is it mainly just Andy that was doing that initially? Like, is there people that jumped on board from Andy, or is there other people outside of Andy that really like pushed it?
I think there are for sure. I think Magic Summer. If you watch Magic Summer, and I mean, he upset Andy and Turning for the Homies won. Andy, without question, awesome. One of the best to ever play that style. Draco, one of my favorites of all time.
Do you talk to him anymore?
I haven't. In fact, Andy and I were talking about that the other day, and he was better friends with Andy than I was, or with Draco than I was. Yeah. And I played with Draco many, many times, but I don't think we ever went more than just, hey, we played some games together and we knew who each other were. Andy and him were friends, and he said he hasn't heard from him for years.
Damn, that's
so I have no idea.
That guy. Yeah. Did he win the I2? Because I know you were a part of that. Do you know who won that? I should have looked before I started this podcast.
I don't remember. You had asked that question, and I, honest to God, do not remember.
Yeah. But I remember watching Draco's Shipyard run to the Pixies song, and I was just like, this guy. I mean, this was years ago, but even now, like I rewatched it, and I was like, it's actually aged relatively decent. I mean, it's not quite as crazy what people are doing now, but it's still like the trick usage. And the ability to hold a combo, that was nuts. One of the best ever. It's classic.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's so many great players. Andy, of course, so well known because of his story and how he went to work for him and everything else. And again, well deserved, every bit of it. Narkill, great player. There were some really good F8 players back in the day. I can't even say his name. Anna Callaghan. Was really good. Mike from TLT, awesome. KSK is a really good style player.
Yeah, KSK.
So there's a ton. I could go on and on and on. I've gotten to play with a lot of them and have always just appreciated them letting me hang out with them and be along for the ride. Just because, like I said, I've just never been a formidable style player, points player. So
sure. All right. Do you remember Bunker King?
I do.
Yeah,
he was an F8.
Yes, he was an F8, correct.
Yeah. Did you? I love all the F8 guys.
Did you ever play with him on anything other than Tony Hawk? I'm just curious if you went farther than just Tony Hawk. Okay.
Only Tony Hawk. Yep.
Yeah, I remember playing Killing Floor with him a little bit. He was.
Oh, nice.
He was just as good at that as he was at Trick Attack.
Yeah, isn't that funny how some people are just good at like everything they touch game wise? It's crazy.
How about Pants in a Can? You remember Pants in a Can? Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, definitely. He was very active on the TXO forums. I played online with him many times. Yeah,
I think, for sure. Wasn't Pants in a Can the first one to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the 10-minute run? Is he the first one to do that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I could not tell you.
Didn't know if you'd know or not, but yeah, if he's not the first, he's one of the first to get that score in 10 minutes, which is pretty
nice.
Cool. Yeah. Who else? I had a couple people written down. You already mentioned most of them, though, and I mentioned Pants in a Can. You already mentioned Draco. I mentioned Bunk. How about Gonzo? What'd you think?
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Yeah, I played with pretty much all of the original. I mean, he was one of the first TLT players, and yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and
He's fantastic. He was a little later. He didn't seem like he was.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't. And he very well could have been a great Tony Hawk 4 player, but you just hadn't heard of him too much in 4.
Yes. So, who is the oldest player that you still talk to, that you're still friends with? That, obviously you've been playing for a long time, but who's the oldest person that you still associate with?
Andy, for sure.
Andy. Oh yeah, really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm still friends with Andy. He's a streamer now. He does a drum stream.
Yeah,
and he has
fucking crazy.
Yeah, he has a great Twitch channel. He does gaming on it too. He plays Thug Pro. I don't even want to say occasionally.
It's very rare, right?
Yeah, he plays on the rare occasion, but
he's probably so sick of this game. Like I asked him to come on the podcast. He's probably I don't want to talk about that shit. But it'd be cool to get him
he
on.
Still talks about it. I'll bet you anything if you asked him, he'd probably get on your podcast. I bet he would.
I think he's going to. I'm gonna have to nudge him a couple times. He's Andy. He's like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but for sure, he's definitely the one. I've associated and known him. He was one of the first guys that I met back on Delphi forums, which is one of the first Tony Hawk forums that there were. That was before I was involved with TXO, and I talked to him, and so definitely. And I talked to him, like I said, I'm a moderator in his Discord and mod in his on his Twitch channel and everything else. So yep.
Cool. Is his Twitch doing well? Is he making a living off Twitch, or what's he doing with that?
I think he makes a few bucks, but no, he's not. He's not full-time streamer. He still does game development. He's Epic Skater. If you haven't played Epic Skater, it's actually really fun for a mobile game. I shouldn't say for a mobile game. It's terrible.
Is it though?
It's a great mobile game, and through using BlueStacks, you can actually play it with controller. It's on Steam now too. Epic Skater 2 is, and it's really fun.
Cool. I might have to check that out for sure.
Yeah.
So I already asked you about the current state of the community. Do you watch those improv videos?
I do. Yeah, I love them. Gosh, your stuff is amazing. I think the guy that turned me on to you was Tyler, watching your videos and the more modern stuff, and even your classic 4. I don't know if you and I ever played together back then. We probably did.
I think we did, but it was definitely towards the end of that game.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was so very, very rarely.
Yeah, because every time I see your name, you pop, and I'm like, I remember him being a really good player. And so Tyler was like, you gotta see MistaFreeze. He's amazing. He's like your biggest fan. So.
Oh yeah, well, nice. That's very kind. I don't know why, but hey, I'll take it.
Oh no, seriously, he loves your stuff. I think because it's some of the style that's thrown out now. It's really cool and impressive, but there's just something about that classic like Tony Hawk 4 style.
I can't get over it. I can't change. Like I just don't want to. I don't want that to go away. So I have this no manual that I worked on. It's going to be in our new video. It's a minute 15 seconds long. No save states, no edits. It's one take, and it took me 30 hours to land it.
Holy crap!
Yeah, but it's pretty good, and that style, you'll definitely dig the style in this no manual for sure, man.
No manuals are my absolute favorite, still to this day. I love no manuals, especially. I've seen some that are really terrible, but I've seen some of their. I'm just like, what?
There's some crazy stuff.
I just find myself flabbergasted and just blown away. So,
is there a favorite video that you could point out that you like the most, or
some of the classics that we talked about, Draco, Andy's shipyard style line. What? Just insane. One of my favorite videos, I think, of all time is probably Andy's project. Yes. The first project, and the reason why is because it was so different at the time. Everybody was just there was no editing that went into videos back then. That was the first one that was like had interesting angles and good music, and it was really quite revolutionary for its time. And I watched it again for the 20th time or whatever a couple of months ago. So that's probably my favorite of all time.
Yeah, plus that can't go wrong with that Tool song.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's Tool, by the way. Yeah, for sure.
I would talk about Tool because they have the new album, but I really don't want to detract from THPS. So
I gotcha.
That'd be like, maybe I'll do like a personal podcast, like outside of Tony Hawk. Get these same people in here just to BS about other shit. It'd be fun.
There you go.
Cool. So we did Creative Parks videos. Any tournaments coming up that you're hosting for Creative Parks, or is that something that's like kind of the past? Or
We'll probably do Cap Contest 10, which I think that'll be a good place to press pause on that for a while. We have okay turnout. The last couple we've had, I think 5-6 people enter. I think we had one of them. We had 12 people turn out for, which is a decent turnout. But we'll do that after my kids start school here in a couple weeks, and then once they start back up to school and things kind of mellow down from summer activity, I'll probably put that on. And then I've been toying with the idea of a graffiti tournament for a while. I just cool. Haven't been convinced that it would be well received. I don't know. You might be able to weigh in on it better than I could to judge the idea. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't know. I honestly, it's a good question. I'm probably not the one to ask. When I join lobbies, we just do trick attack and just mess around.
Yeah. That seems like about what's going on. So I don't know if anybody is still, into a competition type situation. So I don't know.
Question. Yeah, you should ask around, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
That hasn't been done in a long while.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought, something that's got a little bit of a competitive aspect to it or whatever. But, as tournaments go, especially for ones that are going to have a lot more people, they're so subjective. The rules get critiqued. People bitch about this and that, So it's like, we really would have put myself through that. I don't know.
Yeah, and the amount of time it takes to, watch all the videos and to moderate it.
Totally.
Jesus, yeah. Yeah, I was going to set up some tournaments a while back, and I was like, I'll even do a prize pool, throw in some personal things into it. And I was like, it's just to set it up, I didn't even get off the ground. There's a lot that goes into it for sure. And, and especially if you can't really put up any sweet prizes, gosh, back in the tourney for the homies with $1,000 on the line. Gosh, everybody turned out. Wasn't it? That was Thug 2, wasn't it?
Tourney for the Homies 1 was Tony Hawk 4, and then Tourney for the Homies 2 was Tony Hawk or Underground, and then 3 was Underground 2, I believe.
Right, because I think Will won that one.
Yeah, that's correct. Will did win that one.
He was like a new player too. That was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, so he kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
he got the coveted invite into TXO after that bit. So.
Oh wow! Do you talk to him?
I do actually. He's on. We have a private Facebook group for all the old TXO members, and some people don't even have Facebook anymore that were on TXO. But Will is one of them, and in fact, he posted something a couple of weeks ago in that group. So
damn, that's awesome. Yeah, he was good, man. For all
for sure.
Quick that came up, it was just like holy crap.
Yeah, he was highly underrated up until that point, and then all of a sudden eyes were open, and it's like, wow, that guy's crazy. So
yeah, do you know who won the first two then?
The first one was Magic Summer. Magic Summer upset Andy, and then the second one was Video Vendetta, and I don't remember who won that. Damn. Is there anybody in chat that remembers who won Tourney? Who remembers who won Tourney for the Homie 2?
Dude, I just can't believe that they had $1,000. I mean, back then, if I had known about $1,000 tournament when I was like this teenage kid, I would have been like losing my shit. That's a lot of money back then. For
oh gosh, yeah, younger? It was unheard of. Well, Neversoft sponsored it, so.
Oh, okay.
So that's why there was such a big prize that was put up. It was $1,000 to Best Buy.
Okay, so
and I mean, back then, Best Buy, you're a teenager, like you said.
Yeah, that's maybe as well be cash, right? That's like better than cash.
Totally. Yeah. So that's how that went, and that was everybody thought Andy would win that, and it was the upset. So
it's so hard to judge like improv stuff too, but that wasn't improv, was it? Was it improv?
I don't even remember the format, to be honest with you. There's all the videos of the runs of that are up on there is a YouTube channel for TXO. We brought all the videos over from some of them from the old Line Tub site, and then some of them from the, it was eventually called Lineage was the name of the site.
I remember.
And we brought all of those videos over, and it's called TXO Tube. It's on YouTube.
Yep. So the website's not there anymore. Is TXO Tube there? Because that used to be a website, right?
No,
or was it file hoster?
Yeah, it's there was a hosted site of TXO called Lineage. Originally, before it was TLT, it was called the Line Tub, and that was the video site. And Mike ran that, and then there was a whole big. It's not even worth going into, but there was this big falling out between Mike and Benson. And anyway, Mike split off into his own group and formed the Line Tub, and that's where TLT came from.
Do you remember when TLTV came out?
Oh gosh, yes.
I mean, what was that like? I mean, was there anything that was comparable to that?
No, it's unbelievable. Yeah. You know, another revolutionary video. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the best.
Even the second one.
Yeah, 3's good.
Even the third one. I was gonna say, even the third one.
And you know, they raised the bar for themselves. I think they became almost their own worst enemy because it's like, okay, what are we going to do now to top that?
That's the issue we're having. We're like, we put all this time and effort into this first video that we're making, and we're like, Jesus Christ, like we can't.
How do you follow this up?
Yeah, it's like you're sweating, man.
Yeah, for sure. That's crazy. Funny.
So Alec wanted me to ask you, like your favorite memory of the Tony Hawk 4 era, like in 2004? If you can, like, if it's a memory, you'll probably remember it, obviously. So there's got to be something that you just remember the most, that you're just like, man, that was the day, you know?
Who was this that was asking?
It was Alec.
Alec. Okay. Wow, that's a really good question, and one that I didn't have time to prepare for off the cuff.
Yes, off the cuff. Those are the best.
Probably the first time. So back then, before I became associated with or affiliated with any of the TXO people, they were known as the clan, right? They were known as the group, and you'd see all of these passworded rooms, and you never knew what the password was, and you couldn't get in.
Yeah.
Not unlike today. I've heard some bitching about passworded rooms today.
Yeah, especially us. We do that shit. People get pissed.
Yeah, and we kind of have to, because you don't want to sit there and get bugged. And I understood why TXO did it. So I met this guy on the Delphi forums. His name was Mio627. Great guy. And he and I hit it off, and for whatever reason he like took me under his wing, and he's like, I'm going to introduce you to everybody. And I got the password, and the first time I joined a room with all the TXO guys, I like crap myself. I was like, whoa, this is really crazy. Cool. Yeah. And little old me, a trick attack fires up, and my combo ends like 2 seconds after 0, and these guys are going forever, of course. Right. And I'm just like, this is crazy. And I was just blown away. So I'd say that was probably the best moment, was just getting to play in a passworded room. And then I got the password, and, that was a big deal. And that led to a lot for me. So, yeah.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned that, there has been a couple times where back in the day, I'd see a lobby full of TXO members, and I'd be like, can I join this? And there's been a couple times where they just were like, all right, we'll take the password off. And I was like, oh my God, like a kid at a candy store, just freaking out.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So it's so funny too, the password. I wouldn't even still give it up just because of the history of it. But it's like the most simple password ever. It's like anybody probably could have guessed it if you wouldn't have tried to. I mean, it wasn't as simple as like password.
I used to know it.
It was 3 letters. I'll never forget it, because like I said, it was such a big deal at the time. So
yeah, it was. God dang it! I wish I remembered it. Well, even though I did, I wouldn't say it now. But yeah, I did used to know it, which is crazy.
Yeah. Thanks for the shout out, Silent saying in chat that they're enjoying the podcast.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't really know. Like, other than that was all the stuff. I mean, everything else would just be kind of off the cuff, which I'm cool with. Is there anybody that wanted to ask us anything that's in the chat? I don't know how many people are watching, so I never look at the amount of viewers. I just figured it's kind of irrelevant.
Oh, it's one of the things, because I've streamed a fair bit with the THPSX guys. I've learned to kind of pay attention to it.
Oh, okay.
When's the next custom level showcase? Plundy asks.
Next custom level showcase? Is that a thing? A showcase? Or is he talking about
we usually do. The THPSX guys, we'll do a custom level showcase. We usually get 3 or 4 of us on together, and then we'll showcase like probably 3 custom levels we'll get to.
Are these like new levels that just have never been made before, or that people haven't played yet?
Typically, yeah. Anytime there's a batch of new custom levels that are released, we'll usually get on there and then showcase them a little bit. We don't, we just talk about them a little bit and play them and hang out for a while. So
cool. Hey, do you have any of those? There used to be these capture the flag levels. on Tony Hawk 4 where like you'd have to do all these crazy hops across the level and you're like on top, and if you fall you like die and you restart. Do you have any of those levels?
I do not.
Damn it,
I
you know
don't.
what I'm talking about though, right?
Yeah, I totally know what you're talking about.
I'll have to reach out to Crad. I've been wanting to play that shit for years. I come back here, I'm trying to hunt someone down that has those.
Oh, here's a good question. Silent Law says, I've been wondering this forever, and I've asked some people who didn't know who originated the butt slap.
Yeah. If you don't want to answer that, I know Alec will answer it.
I don't know.
Okay.
I seriously don't know.
Well, if he doesn't figure that out, I'm going to have Alec on here someday, and he knows pretty much every invention of every technique and who made them. So,
oh, seriously?
He's
nice.
like a dictionary for the improv community. He'll be very important.
Love it. That's great. I'll look forward to watching that one. Tyler says, when's the Dode MistaFreeze collab coming out?
We'll make our park together.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's really the only thing that I can do, because you certainly don't want to watch me play the game.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know why they watch me play, but since it's a podcast, I get away with it. Otherwise, yeah, it takes hours to record something that's decent.
So Fate told Silent that it was Torn who invented the butt slap, and rest in peace, Fate. I miss him. Did you ever play with him?
I did.
MistaFreeze?
Yeah, it was like I played with him, and then obviously it was as if it was really unfortunate.
He was awesome. He was the guy that could get Andy to come play.
Oh,
he
really?
could get Andy to come play. We played Airport Capture the Flag for hours with that guy.
He didn't play on Tony Hawk 3, did he? I know he was an older school player.
If he did, I didn't know of him. I didn't know of him until Thug Pro, to be honest with you.
I didn't know of him until like later on in Thug, but I don't know how when he started, so yeah, that would be something to talk about later. It's kind of a depressing thing, it's been some stuff in the community that, you play with these people.
Yeah. The other one that breaks my heart too is a biohacker, also known as Chase. I
don't know much about him. I know he was really good at modding the game, though. Holy Christ.
Yeah, so he was the guy back then. He was the guy. He was super young. He was like 13, 14 years old, and he took down the online servers in 4 for a period of time. And there was a huge outcry about it. And he's like, what? This. I just wanted to show that Neversoft needs to tighten their security down.
Right. Yeah.
That's how he was about it. And later, I mean, he was awesome. He actually he worked with the Thug Pro devs. He helped establish the first Mac version of Thug Pro, or the way to play Thug Pro on Mac, I should say. I got to get my technical terminology right. But he was just great. I talked to him a lot, later on in Thug Pro, before his accident happened, unfortunately. And I miss that guy.
So
he was really cool.
I mean, he's not around anymore?
No, he was unfortunately he was in a horrible car accident and he passed away.
No shit. You know, that's crazy. I know way more people on this game that type of thing has happened to than in real life. And it just blows my mind.
Really?
Yeah,
interesting.
It's on Blake. And not many people that I know in real life have expired, but in this game, it's and this game almost is the same as real life to me because I've played it for so long. You've established these connections that have been around for almost 20 years now.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Yeah, lots of connections, lots of people. Well, and I guess it makes sense because you know people from all over the world, where in real life, people in your town, and a few people from your family in another part of the world or whatever. But yeah, it's just pretty crazy. So
there was another thing someone asked Plund, if you want to read Plund's thing. I don't quite know what he's asking.
What is could we possible add park editor editing scripts for glitching? That is not a question that I know the answer to. I know a little bit about some technical stuff, but in relationship to what that would take or what that goes into something like that, I have no idea.
Obviously, I would be the last person to ask that too. So, any sort of modding scripts, call me out. That's too much for me.
I think it's just a matter of what's allowed in game, because there's a lot of people that have games, and as long as when you're hosting online and script mods are turned on, there's certain specific things that you can do. What all those things are, I do not know.
crazy seeing the little nooks and crannies of this little map. Like I've been screwing around with it, and then I just found that I could go behind this building.
Oh, I've been playing this the whole
Jesus.
time for that. We've played this longer than any park we've played, and I'm still finding crap. This thing is
it's
crazy.
pretty
This is
insane.
French Toast by Ruin Chat. If
French
anybody's into it,
Toast.
check it out. It's on thpsx.com.
This is
And
crazy.
this thing is wild.
I can actually imagine improv community playing this map just because.
I think so.
Yeah, it's nuts.
If you knew text, you could even have more fun. I learned how to wall shuffle one time, and then somebody tried to teach me how to butt slap for a while, and I kind of figured it out, but I'm just not. I don't know.
Butt slap and boost plants is as far as I can BHRA, which is
Nice.
cool. I'll take that. Yeah, I can't. I don't know, dude. These new players that take this game up, like they can learn everything in a matter of months and be better than us. It's just unreal. It's like, what the hell?
It's incredible. Does Dode have any memories of favorite glitch parks?
Ooh.
Well, I guess glitch parks, if you mean glitch parks by parks that are merged or stacked or whatever, we talked about that a little bit at the beginning of the podcast, and that would be some of Evil God stuff. Yeah, I'll let you tackle that one, MistaFreeze. BHRA, what does that stand for? Somebody in the chat wants to know.
You know what's hilarious? I have no idea, but it's that thing where you basically do a butt slap on the ground. And I bet you. Like,
I think I heard what it
stands
for.
Yeah, I can. There was one. And you can butt slap out of it too. It's like bunny hop something.
Bunny hop revert air is what White Hot Agony says.
There we go. That sounds about right. Yeah, I knew it was bunny hop something. I was halfway there. It's hard. Like I don't know. It's hard for me.
I've never even tried it, so I can tell you. I remember here's an old memory for you. One night, I didn't know how to shuffle yet. And so I'm like, I watched people shuffle. I'm like, how do you shuffle? So one night, Andy and then a guy named, you might remember him, his name was Ghetto Child.
I remember, yeah.
Okay. Andy and Ghetto Child and I were in Shipyard, and they decided they were going to teach me how to shuffle. And I learned how to shuffle, but we ended up talking about like Ghetto Child, and he started sharing like this in real life stuff and how he'd been to jail and all this other stuff. It was pretty crazy. It was like, normally you don't have these talks about real life with people in game, and that's a lot of times for good reason. Right. But that was like a candid moment that we shared. It was just wild. Like, wow, I didn't think we'd ever connect with somebody, in this game like that. And it's happened many times since then with different people. But that was the first time that I remember anybody really getting kind of serious about real life.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. There's, I remember back in the day when I didn't have a cell phone, I was this teenage kid with pissed off parents if I made noise after 9 o'clock. But I would be in a server with Pants in a Can and Anthrax, and I'd be like, yo, give me a call, here's my home number. And they would call it, and I'd have to answer the phone within a second. Otherwise, if my parents heard it, they'd get super pissed,
That's hilarious. It's a great story.
On top of that, they'd be like, you're talking to a stranger on the internet? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's like, I would give my cell phone number out to a couple of these people, it just doesn't even faze me, but...
Yeah, I try to still be careful because you just never know. But I mean, I'm definitely a lot more free because most people know my real life name, and they know who I am, and whatever. There's a lot of them have seen pictures of my kids and whatever. But yeah, it's crazy. Well, I mean, and just most recently too, I got to go to the 20th anniversary concert in San Diego for the game. And it was myself and Tyler, and Tyler is from the other side of the country, and we got to go, and it was crazy. I'm like, I've met this guy online. I've talked to him. I don't know anything really too much about him more than we play this game. And we ended up splitting a hotel together. We went to the event together. It was awesome. And
is this
Tyler's
the same
great.
one that's in the chat?
Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
Wow. Damn. So I didn't know he was playing for that line. That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. I'm definitely, I still, like I said, I try to be careful, but I'm probably more trusting than I maybe should be sometimes. But I don't know. I haven't gotten burned too bad yet.
Yeah, I've never been really burned for sure. Did you have any players that you knew lived in the same state as you, but you just never, hooked up as just played the game?
Closest guy that lived near me was a guy that played. He was on the creator review team. His name's Psycho Manus.
That sounds familiar too.
Could be. You might have heard of him. He did a lot of parks and stuff. Anyway, he lives. I live in Oregon, and he lives on the Oregon coast.
And was this wasn't recent though? This is like back.
No. This was back in. Let's see. I think I met him in Thug 1.
Oh, cool.
Thug 1, Thug 2. And so, yeah, we always were like, hey, we're the Oregon homies. Throw up the Oregon gang signs, yo. And all this other stuff. And then the other fun fact is, and I don't think I'm doxing anybody or saying anything that isn't public knowledge already, but Andy and I live in the same town now. Andy now lives in Oregon.
Oh, okay. Damn.
So, yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I had... Back in the day, I wish I would have had some people that lived in Minnesota that played this game, but there was none, man. Nobody in Minnesota. I was like, what the hell? There was one. There was one person. He lived in a town called Hutch, but that was like quite some ways away, and I was still super young. And I was like, oh, it'd be cool if we played games together, man. And he probably thought I was like some fucking weird pedophile or some shit. But I just wanted to play this game with him. I think it'd been cool, you know?
Yeah, that's funny.
And now you have like Shame. I think it's Shame. That's his name, right? Shame. He plays.
Shame. Yeah.
Yeah, you know who he is. Okay.
Lives in Minnesota.
No, I don't. Chicago.
And okay.
I was like, man, if I ever go to Chicago, I'm gonna chill.
Oh, you got a Minnesotian on the chat. 69 So Fine is in Minnesota. Don't know who that is. What's your in-game name? 69 So Fine.
Cool to see. But yeah, it's going to be cool because if I ever go to Chicago, it's like an open invite to go chill with him. People have actually already got one over there. He has like a whole band set up just for Tony Hawk. It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, that's cool.
How cool is that?
We're having a big, long conversation about adding the Disney Extreme Skate Adventure into Thug Pro, all the rest of the levels.
Are they good? Or is Hollywood the best?
I never played it. The only one I've played is Andy's Room, and the only reason I played is because it's in Thug Pro.
Right, I'm just wondering if the other levels are good, you know?
Wait, you know what? That's not true. I've played Hollywood because Nuts ported it as a custom level.
Yeah, that's like his shortened name. What's his real name?
Let My Nuts Go.
Who the hell is that? Is he new?
Not to me.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how long he's played. Nuts, are you in chat? He could tell us right now.
I saw his name on NFA. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, they're not just gonna give this role to anybody. You know?
Yeah, he's done a ton of custom levels. He was he made a tutorial on how to rig custom skaters for Thug Pro, awesome. And it's gotten a lot of hits. And he's kind of considered the master of rigging custom skaters. He's really good at it, and yeah, just a great guy. He's pretty quiet. He and I have a good connection because he likes 80s music, and because like I grew up in the 80s, I like 80s music. Right. Not exclusively, but he's always throwing videos of 80s tunes in there, and so he and I kind of have a fun little thing with that. But yeah, Nuts is great.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, I figured you might know him, and good thing you mentioned it because I was going to mention it, and I was like, just blew my mind. They're like, what a name.
Yeah, well, gosh, how many crazy names have we run into?
Yeah, this is true.
To a ton, I'm sure you have too. So
yeah, for sure. Well, hey, man, this was a killer time. I don't want to end it too abruptly, but it's been about an hour and a half.
No, you're fine, man. Yeah, hey, thanks for doing these. You know, I know a lot of us have talked for, including me, have talked for years about trying to do something where, you know, we kind of have some consistent content coming out, and you followed through on it. So yeah, huge shout out. You know?
I just figured if anyone's going to do it, I'll dress it up, make them kind of cool before the intro. And, you know, it's not the best. I'm sure people have other really cool ideas and they might be able to implement them. But yeah, I just saw nobody was doing them, and I was like, someone's got to do it. So I love it. Saturday, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing it, and thank you for thinking of me and including me. Like I said, I don't think we knew each other too well, but I feel like I know you a little bit better after chatting with you here. So
yeah, dude, it's good time. We'll do it again too. Like I want to have Seawalk on here again. There's some stuff we were kind of left cliff.
Yeah, I'm always down
for sure. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna hang her up, but it was fun.
Okay, yeah, likewise. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, and thanks everybody for stopping by in the chat, and we appreciate it.
Cool. All right, we'll catch you guys later.